Toronto's a bustling place, and fortunately, it's easy to find an escape without having to go far. I'm Paul Tarsitano. Join me for a hike along the Vista and Orchard Trails in Rouge Park. While exploring the incredible landscape, we'll learn about different types of gear, safety, and more in the wild city. Diana!
Hey, Paul.
How are ya?
Good, how are you?
Great.
Welcome to Rouge Park.
Thank you.
It's a great day, the birds are out. Are you enjoying your hike so far?
Absolutely.
Welcome to the Vista Trail.
Well, we're also going to do the Orchard Trail as well.
Oh, you're going to have so much fun.
Yeah, it's good to see you again.
I know.
Long time.
Yes, right. So what are we up to today?
Well, you know what? First of all, we're going to be hiking the Vista and the Orchard. And what's your role in the park?
Well, I'm the trail coordinator, so that means that anything that has to do with the trails and the public areas, I have a strong responsibility for. And that relates to visitor experience, to safety, and to people enjoying the park in general.
Tell us about the history of the Rouge Park.
Well, after years of public lobbying, the park was protected as of 1990, and it opened in 1994. We've been walking on the trail since about 1998. And as of last year, or 2 years ago, roughly speaking, Rouge Park is on its way to become Canada's first national urban park. So we've got a strong history and a strong future on our hands.
That's great news. For someone who's not comfortable hiking on their own, what do you recommend?
Well, I think starting out slow, staying close to home so that you haven't tried something a bit too far afield. Try a trail that suits your most immediate needs if you're just starting out literally, you haven't really hiked before. And a guided walk is a great idea so that you're with somebody who's trained, who knows the trails already, and can point out things of interest that you wouldn't have seen otherwise.
That sounds really great, you know. It makes people much more comfortable coming out and exploring this wonderful park. What makes the Vista Trail unique, and what are some of the features?
Well, right here where we're standing is our viewing deck, which was graciously sponsored by Ontario Power Generation, so we're really happy about that. And it gives us this awesome view of the Little Rouge Creek Valley. So we've got that to offer on the Vista Trail, but what we also have is a wonderful meadow habitat, which is just opposite us on the viewing deck, and we'll walk into a really, really gorgeous canopied Carolinian forest. And there aren't that many Carolinian locations around the GTA anymore, so that's what makes it special too.
I'll be hiking the Orchard Trail. What makes it unique, and what are some of its features?
The Orchard Trail is a great walk. It allows you lots of really interesting views of the Little Rouge Creek from above, at creek level more or less. It gives you a chance to see some lovely old white pines, some interesting meadow opportunities, maybe in the summertime for butterflies. And it gives us a hint to the past of the mills that used to dot the Little Rouge Creek. So we've got history, we've got nature, and we've got a lot of great views of the creek all in one.
Oh, that's great. I see you're carrying a pack, and I'm carrying a pack as well. Is there any difference between a men's pack and a woman's pack?
Generally, a women's pack is designed for our shape. So we have a bit of a curve, or we should have, and so generally a women's pack is designed to adjust for that. So things like when we have our hip belt, it's set so that we can have it carry the weight of the pack in a more appropriate place than men's. Another thing that might be about a women's pack is how it's shaped, so that the weight distribution can be more appropriate to how we walk, because men and women walk differently too, especially on the trail.
Now, What is in your pack? I'm really curious.
Well, as a hike leader, I carry a few more things than the average person would, but I think in general people should always carry water, which is what I have, a first aid kit, and you should know how to use your first aid kit too. And something to maybe sit on if perhaps the trail doesn't have a bench or a log that you can sit on. So that's why I have a tarp, but I might also need the tarp in case I have to help somebody out. I also have some other spare things that are in case, but I always carry my water and my snacks, extra things, and maybe something to help out a person along the way.
So I see you're keeping safety in mind.
Absolutely. And also your camera and your phones, just in case you want to take some awesome shots of what you see, or if you need to get some help along the way and call out.
That's great. You know, it's such a vast area, and I love dogs, but why do we have to keep the dogs on the leash?
Well, Rouge Park is a protected conservation area, an area of natural beauty, and Toronto bylaws do apply here in Rouge Park as any other city park, so we want our visitors to appreciate that while dogs can enjoy the park, they should be on leash at all times for the protection of other visitors, but mainly for the protection of the habitat. We've got so many wild animals here. You can see all these birds flying around, and a lot of birds actually nest on the ground, which is something people don't know very well. So keeping a dog on leash can also protect those ground nesting birds as well as lots of other wildlife.
Now, what is in the river for fishing, and what kind of species are there?
Well, the ones that I'm most familiar with would be Chinook salmon, rainbow trout, and we also have the steelhead version of that trout. We'll have smallmouth bass. We have some interesting species called white suckers, which I'm not sure are very palatable, but if you want to fish in Rouge Park, you do need a license, just as you would anywhere else in Ontario. We ask that you respect both the provincial regulations and the fact that Rouge Park is a protected area. So we have some hot spots where anglers can go, but we'll prefer that they stay away from some of the quieter areas that, again, we consider habitat.
Thanks, Diana. You know, I'm looking forward to heading on the trail again. So we'll see you again.
You're going to have an awesome time. Thanks for coming out,
Take
Paul.
care. Rouge Park Trails are marked with white markers on trees, as we see right here. Also further ahead, we can see the top one is veering to the left. That indicates the trail is veering left. So if you could come see right over here, this is the markings. So the top one is showing the direction of left. That's where the trail is veering. One of the hazards on the trail is poison ivy. You can see poison ivy right here with the 3 drooping leaves. And it can be deceiving because it's right beside a trillium. So stay on the trail. Right here is a game trail. This is where animals follow, and right here is scat from a coyote. Sturdy footwear is really important on the trails. You can see how rugged it can be. But you can get away with running shoes if the trails are dry, but I really recommend having some kind of soles that are very sturdy and hiking boots that are well worn in. That'll make your feet nice and comfortable. Especially hiking these trails in the wintertime, you want to have some ice grips. These ice grips would prevent you from slipping and add some added grip when walking. These just slip onto your boots like so. It's a great investment if you're going to be hiking in the wintertime. Easily slipped on. I'm going to show you how to dress for the outdoors. Dressing in layers is really important. The first layer should be something that wicks away moisture. Try to avoid cotton. The second layer would be some form of insulation, such as fleece. And the last layer would be a shell, protecting you from the wind, the rain. And on the sunny days, wear a cap. But on the very cold days, wear a toque. And let's not forget our feet. We talked about shoes. Wear some kind of wool socks. Try to avoid cotton, as wool wicks away moisture. Sunglasses for the sun, and don't forget your sunscreen. So with the proper clothing, you could get out and enjoy any type of weather. So be prepared and dress for the outdoors. Only in the wild city. This is one of my favorite plants in the park. It's wild ginger. I've just finished the Vista Trail, and what a trail that was. Really spectacular scenery. We're now heading towards the Orchard Trail, which is just a few minutes down the road. This is a really got-to-know plant in a survival situation. It has everything from fire starting to wild edibles. It's a cattail. It's good to know, especially in the wilderness outside of the city, for fire starting. Besides carrying a compass, I also carry a 10 by 12 tarp. It's not for everybody to carry, but I know that I'm prepared if I do have one with me. If someone collapses and they're not moving, at least I can protect them from the weather, the wind, the rain, the sun. So what I'll be doing is using a tarp and 6 tent pegs. The knapsack is going to simulate a person. You see how fast I could build this shelter. Only takes a matter of minutes. I need a tent peg. There we go. So I spread it out, an even ground. I get my pegs out, like so. And just inside the tarp will go the first pegs. There you go. Oh, now I'm just pushing in the tent pegs. Stepping in on there, there we go. It's a little rocky. Now I line up the end with the pegs I just put in, like so. There we go. Again, I line it up to the other peg I put in prior. There we go. I secure the tent peg, and now I use the hiking pole to make my tarp shelter. I can adjust the pole. There we go. Put it in the ground. We're not finished yet. What I do now is I tuck the ends in, like so. I tuck this end in, and you can utilize those, the extra material, to sit on. There you go. I've now protected the person from the wind, the rain, the sun. It certainly will help the person from the environment. This is the Wild City, folks. This is what I'm talking about. Breathtaking landscape. Beautiful flowing river. You get fish here for trout, salmon. Just be careful of the erosion. That's why you don't want to get too close to the edge. Simply fantastic, and we're still in Toronto. So I've been hiking the trail for some time, and I wanted to find out if I'm going north or south on the trail. One way of doing it is using the watch method. What I do is I look at the sun there, I point the hour hand, which is 2 o'clock, towards the sun. Halfway between 12 and 2 is 1 o'clock, which is due south. Or I could do the easy way and just pull out my smartphone. Yeah, that's south, all right. I always carry a first aid kit along with me. Even the simplest cut can really cause a lot of problems on the trail and really ruin your day. Here are some basic items that I carry. Bandages are a must, as they help prevent blisters from getting worse. Some simple gauze, 4x4 gauze for some cuts. I always like to carry some aspirin, a space blanket, something really good to carry. out of Toronto in my mind. This is a total escape from city life. Oh, look, my friends. Alex, Belinda, Claire.
Hi, Paul.
Hi, Paul.
That was quite a hike.
Yes, it was.
Beautiful landscape.
Beautiful here.
I see
Yeah.
one of my favorite spots
It's
for
also our
snacks.
favorite spot. It's a great place to stop for a little break. Would you like something?
Sure.
We're having we have granola bars.
Yeah,
and
I'll have
nuts,
some.
dried fruit.
I'll sit down shortly. I see, Claire, you have a pack? What's in your pack?
Yes, I do. I've got an extra rain jacket just in case it rains on us. Got a first aid kit in case of an emergency. A space blanket and some sunscreen.
I see you kept safety in mind.
Yeah, I did.
And you have a good background because you're a volunteer scout leader, aren't you?
Yeah, I am.
That's excellent. And Belinda, what do you have there?
Well, we're having a light snack here, just having not quite a lunch, but just a break from
Okay.
our hike, and lots of fresh. We've got granola bars, homemade, a few crackers, some chocolate, dried fruit.
Uh-huh.
We've got apples and cherries and grapes.
They look so good.
So these granola bars are lots of oatmeal, and there's some honey and just a little bit of everything, some dried fruit. It's great nutrition, fast energy, and it keeps really well.
What about in the really hot weather? How do they keep?
Actually, in the hot weather, these are fine because I let them, I bake them, and they're pretty dry, and they actually last in a drier, cool place, like a container like this, for about a week. That never happens with my husband here because he eats them all up. We cannot keep anything sweet, and these are amazingly delicious.
You mentioned about the containers, and I like those containers. They look actually perfect for going on a hike.
They
what
are.
makes them so unique for that reason?
Well, they're non-crushable. They keep things nice and dry. They're waterproof. It's easy to just throw it in your backpack. You don't have to worry.
Okay.
It's actually also like a utensil that you can eat from.
A good idea is every time you drink from your water container, it's a good idea to take a look inside the container, because if you have anything sweet, a sweet drink, sometimes you get the hornets or bees or wasps actually going inside your container.
That's probably a very valid point. It's a good point. I actually usually close it each time I'm finished taking a sip of my water bottle, but just for that reason. But
Well, you know, as I was saying before, one of my favorite parts of ending a hike is having some good food.
Oh, great.
You know, why don't we just pass some of that around and
here you
enjoy?
go. Have some more
Thank
chocolate
you.
or nuts.
Chocolate. My favorite. Claire? You're welcome. Oh, before I go, can I have another granola bar?
Sure, Paul.
You know, send me the recipe.
Sure,
No,
I'll
it's
send
nice
you the
meeting you guys, okay? So we'll see you on the trail. Thanks again. All right, take care, folks.
Bye,
It's
Paul.
nice seeing you guys.
Bye-bye, Paul.
Hiking Toronto's trails is a great way to get away from it all without having to go far. But it's important to be prepared, and that includes keeping safety in mind. I'm Paul Tarsitano, and I hope to see you in our wild city.